Hi, my name is Nicholas, and I'll be talking about what I would expect, what am I excited for, The Devil's Plan Season 3. Now, I'll be talking about this due to the fact that it's going to be coming out in less than 5 months, and so I wanted to get my thoughts in line to what I think will appear, what I liked about the previous seasons, and what I expect to change in this new season. So hopefully you enjoy it. Leave a comment on what you personally think regarding all this. I'll be reading all of them. Let's begin. So first, I would like to talk about what did I like from the first two seasons, because what I liked about the first two seasons will change what I expect from this third season, obviously, right? I personally enjoyed the organic growth and bonding and hierarchy that built up over time in these two seasons. Although I will say the first one was more natural than the second one, and I'll come back to it on my second part, which is about what I do not like about the two seasons, the first two seasons, rather, sorry. But I did enjoy that everything felt organic, that these people didn't really know each other before. Well, some of them maybe because they were actors, they worked together, but overall, there was no big relations, right? They just really got to know them, each other, through this within a week, depending on how far they would get along within their within the season. I also enjoyed, well, the games. The games were really well thought out, you know, although there were sometimes too much wiggle room within the rules, right? But that comes with also the fact that they're trying to find the smartest person. But there were times that were like, that's kind of cheating, you know, that's not really something that I personally enjoyed. It still showed that the creativity of some of these folks. The bonding really tightened uh, a lot of these games because they did not want to let go some of these people, right? Like in the first season, for example, there were two groups. The first one, which was made up of 3 or 4 people, I think it's four, that were all rich on coins. And the second group was made up of the rest of them, 8 people or so, that were all broke, that had no coins. Well, one coin rather, right? And neither of them were giving up an inch and were both trying to really save their teams. And it really felt emotional. That's something I personally loved about this. Because you cannot feel that raw emotion from other live dramas, because they all feel fake. Go to Love Island, for example, how fucking fake that bullshit is. But here, it's really deep, very natural. And that's something that really, how do I say this? Got me hooked. It got me addicted. Because now every time I look at another show, I can't notice that it's just fake. Everything is fake. Like, wow, are you really enjoying this person's? No, you're not. No, you're not. You're doing this because there's cameras around you. That's all. And that troubles me because I was already not enjoying most shows due to the fact that whenever there's a fight, it's just, why is this person not moving? Why is he taking the fucking sword through his stomach? Why is he not defending himself? You know, how lame is that? And now I have to think about that. Oh my god, they're those are not real emotions because of the devil's plan. The devil's plan got me fucked up in the mind. You know, um, yeah. This one point was really what I enjoyed the most about the first season. The second season, we felt less emotions due to the fact that, well, all of them saw the first season, and so they were more prepared. And that's gonna be one of my bad points that I'm gonna be saying in a few minutes. But the emotions were not as high as the first season due to the fact that people were not that they were prepared, rather, sorry, that they were prepared because they saw the first season, so they knew what to expect, give or take. And so it didn't feel like I was watching the same Devil's Plan. It was very different. But it made it unique, which is a good point, right? Because if it was literally the same thing as if it was players that did not know what to expect, and they would eventually do groups, some of these moments would have just felt cheap. Because, like, oh, I just watched that same thing happen during the first season. Why am I watching this thing again for a second season with different people? It's literally the same thing, you know? And so, although I feel like the second season was a downgrade, it still felt nice because it was different. And that's something that I can really appreciate from the director and the players. Really well done on that. Now, for the bad, what did I not like about the first two seasons? Well, first, I'm going with my main point, which was metagaming. If you do not, what metagaming is when you're in a video game or just a roleplay session, or for this example, let's say live drama, right? And there's information that you know about that you shouldn't know because you haven't gathered said information in the proper way. You haven't. Which means you're soft cheating. For example, let's say you're role playing on Grand Theft Auto Online, right? And you want to do some drugs, but now you don't have seeds for marijuana, right? But your character doesn't know where to get these seeds. But you, as a person, know where to get it. It's from this guy who sells them to you. But now you're using this information outside of the game, outside of your character's mind, to buy these seeds, which is metagaming. Your character should know that Arthur is the guy that sells seeds. You learned it through YouTube. That's metagaming. And so, if we go back to the Devil's Plan, all of these players, all of these people that were a part of season 2, all watched the first season. And so they all knew what to expect, which really downgraded the emotions ride that I had while watching this, you know? Because it felt like they knew what to do. They knew what to expect from the games. They knew the value of the coins. They knew that there was a secret room. That was so lame. You know, that they knew about the secret rooms. It felt so emotionally devastating in the first season when we saw, I don't remember her name, but the first woman that went into the room, right? and then she lost, and we were left like, oh my god, what did she saw? And when is the guy, the second guy that was in prison with her, going to try his hand on it? What is he going to do? Is he going to actually try it nonetheless? Is he going to win? You know? It felt really devastating. But in the second season, it just felt cheap. Because everyone knew about it from the first day. Literally the first season or second season, I'm sorry, I can't remember. But the first time that we see the players inside of the prison, they already talk about, like, oh, let's look for the secret room, guys. Let's look for it. And they find it. Like, what? That's really lame. Whoa. And so, I'm going to talk more about this in the next point. But I really hope they change something about this. Because otherwise, it's going to be again boring. It's going to be cheap. I don't like whenever they know what to expect in advance. And that's why these shows can take so long, because they need to prepare these games, prepare these secrets, and know what to expect out of the players. Something else that really bothered me was what it was how everyone knew that, oh, we gotta do a team. We gotta team up right away. Compared to the first season, they were not teaming up as fast. You know, they were still hesitant. You know, they were not sure if it was the right play. But after the second game, if I remember correctly, they were like, okay, maybe, yeah, I think teaming up is the right play. Even though only one of us will win, it's the proper play. But because the second season saw the first season, they knew what to expect. They knew that teaming up was a proper way of going forward. I know I said this part was about what do I hate about the first two seasons, and I'm only talking about what I hated from the second season, but I will come to what I hate about the first season in a moment. It's just really the second one I feel like had a lot of bad points, including what everyone talked about online, which is the last episode, the last game in which there was no way to win. It was a stalemate. And so the girl let the guy win, which was the biggest letdown. I'm still disappointed in that ending. What the fuck? And so I think at that point, they should have let her win, because she was the closer one to win. But that's only me, right? Maybe you think I'm wrong. That's okay. But I think they should have fought out about what do we do if there's a tie. Maybe they didn't try the game enough times, right? Because honestly, this, I will give it to them. This is not something that a lot of people could have experienced. I will admit. But still, it was a little disappointing for the ending, you know? She just gave it to him. Blah. No. It was lame. For the first season, the biggest letdown, which honestly, that's not something that the show can really fix, unfortunately. But I will still talk about it because I've noticed that a lot of people agree with me on that point, which is the best player, or the top one of the top three, which is the poker player, got eliminated so fast. I don't remember his name. Let me check it out. Kim Dong Jae. Yeah, Kim Dong Jae. However you pronounce it. I'm sorry. But yeah, this Korean guy, very young, right? And he's just in a university, and he's the only player I think that got a perfect score in the test for people that are not known, right? He got eliminated in the second or third game, one of the two, right? And his teammates, especially the guy, again, I don't remember his name. I'm fucking sorry. Like, okay, I can't pronounce that. Ha Seok Jin, right? That guy was the winner, but when the poker player got eliminated, he was so mad at Orbit. He was so mad, like, buddy, you ganged up on one of, if not the best player we have within us. You got him eliminated. Like, how boring is going to be the finals now? Well done, you know? Which I agree. It was really boring. Well, no, the finals were not boring, but it was not as exciting because a lot of the games after he got eliminated, I feel like he could have done a lot. He would have been very good at knowing him, right? That's really something that bothered me. And the players in this first season really disliked him, except for two people, the lady and the winner that both went to prison to try to get the secret winning the secret, right? They both loved him, but the rest of them didn't like him because in the first game he was the jester and he lied to everyone, right? He lied to everyone, including the winner, right? The winner of the first season loved him, and yet he got lied to. But the rest of them despised him, and so that felt petty. But again, that's a good point as well. But we're not here to talk about the good points. We're here to talk about the bad points, which was a very good player got eliminated very fast, which bothers me. I really wish he would have went further, but that's part of these survival games. So it's half a good and half a bad point. And the same could be said about the way around, which is a lot of bad players got far into the season because Orbit kept them alive, which I find it very, very boring. You know, he kept so many people alive because he wanted to. That's it. He wanted to keep them alive, but these people did not deserve the semifinals or whatever it was, quarterfinals. I don't remember, but the game, the poker game in which you do math, where you're trying to get as close as possible to the number one, right? There were so many players, and more than half of them did not deserve to get there. That really frustrated me. Like, why are you bringing dead weight to this table? These people do not deserve to be here. They're not good enough. And there were two people that got eliminated so fast, which proved that they did not deserve to be there. You know? And so I really hope that in the future they give games that proves that allows rather, sorry, for better players to be able to move on and the bad ones to get eliminated. Now, let's go for the third part because it's getting a little long already. Which is what do I expect to change in the third season? Actually, wait. There's one more thing that I wanted to talk about. That I do not like about the first two seasons, which is in the second season, they made it way too harsh for the ones that were stuck in prison because they were never allowed to leave the prison, right? Once you were in the prison, you were never getting out, which is really harsh. And not only that, they were giving them very, very little food and nutrients, which is really fucked up. Like, but it's just a game show. Relax. Give them a little more food, okay? It's really fucked up that you're giving them rations. You know, I do not like that. Although I find it kind of funny, like, give them one slice of bread and milk. But truth be told, this allows them to properly play the games, which might be part of the punishment for being in prison, but it lowers the quality of what to expect from the games. And so I really do hope they change that. So there's only two parts left, which is first, what do I expect to change in the third season? Expect being the key word, because of the fourth part, which is what do I want to change in the third season. So the third part will be what do I think the director will do to change the third season compared to the first two. Compared to the fourth part will be about what I hope they will do. Very different. So let's go with what do I expect they will do. I am not 100% certain. I do not know that director very well, although he's made a lot of live shows similar to this one. He really likes social games, as I can tell, right, with his previous shows. I've watched a little bit. I don't remember what it is, its name, but I've watched like 3 episodes of something he's made in the past, and they are quite similar to this. I'm sorry, there's something in my throat. This is pissing me off. Okay. And so I think he might move more towards social games instead of thinking games. And I think he will try to block any potential ways of stalemates. Because I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm wrong, okay? Maybe I'm wrong. But I think he was also disappointed with the fact that in the second season, the last game, it was just a stalemate until she gave up, right? He probably does not want something like that to happen anymore. And so he will probably put more restraints to the games, or he will put one special rule, which is something along the lines of if there's 5 stalemates in a row, whoever is ahead will win, something like that. He will put something to stop all stagnations from happening. I don't think he will increase the amount of players. The first one was 12 players, and the second one had 24 players. Oh, no, 14. I'm sorry. 14 players. Will he go above 14? I thought he went to 24. Maybe he will increase the amount of players and make it that more people gets eliminated. Maybe. I'm looking at some images of the players from the second season, and there's something that I'm seeing, which is a Korean actor who lived for a long time in America, right? Because he's an actor. Let me check. Justin. There you go. I think he will do something about this. What am I talking about? Justin was getting bullied during the second season, and he wanted out. He wanted to get out of this show, but the directors talked him out of it. Like, oh, it's okay, buddy. We'll do something about it. We'll talk to the other players. And supposedly from Justin himself, it did not stop. That's how the Korean culture is, unfortunately, right? Well, Asian culture in general. I'm sorry, okay? If they're Asian in here, you will know what I'm talking about. Especially if you're outside of your parents' or country of origin, right? If your if your parents are Japanese and you were born in the United States, you will know what I'm talking about. That your grandparents, or if you go to Japan and they know that you're not born there, you will be shunned. They will not like you. And that's what happened to Justin. This guy was bullied throughout the entirety of the second season, which was very, very annoying. I really hated that. And so, why am I bringing this in the third part, which is what I think he will change in the third season? I think he will not do the same mistake. He will not invite anyone uh, that are not, you know, let's say half Korean. We'll make it simple. The ones that are not born in Korea, but still are from Koreans. You know, because in the first season there was Guillaume, a French Canadian, and as far as I can tell, he was not bullied, and that's because Asians don't bully non-Asians. They bully Asians that are not no longer Asians, right? And so I think the director will not invite Koreans that are no longer Koreans to make sure that this does not happen again. But I do not like that idea at all. But unfortunately, you cannot beforehand know the ones that you invite will or will not bully them because they're good at hiding it. They're good. And so I think he will try his hardest to not invite anyone like Justin, which makes me sad. But he does not want another thing like this to happen. Um, what else do I expect out of him? He expanded the prison in the second season. I think he will go back to the first season, in the likes of the first season, rather. Sorry, and make it smaller, maybe 2 or 3 person only maximum. You know. This experiment of what was it, 6? Yeah, I think it's around 6 people that were in the prison. Oh, it was half. Yeah, half of the group were at all times in the prison the second season. I think that was just too much. I think they will go back to just being the bottom 2 or 3. Is what I think. I think they will 100% do something about the secrets. It's just what? I am not sure. That's what I've been thinking about this entire time. I'm not sure what they will do regarding the secrets. Will they just remove it? Will they make it harder to find, but easier to accomplish once it's found? I don't know. Right? The first one was an odd one because you had to get 4 different type of coins. But in the second season, it was just, oh, there you go. You opened a sewer hole, a manhole. There you go, and there was a question on it. It was very different. And so I think they will go back to making it harder to find, so that even though if you met a game, you will not be able to find it or to open it at the very least. Yes. That's what I would expect from him. I think he was disappointed that people were able to find the secret in the prison so fucking fast. Um, I think that's it from my expectations. Now, what do I want to change in the third season? What do I want? I would like for them to mix the games, especially the later ones. So, currently, most games benefits being in a group. And what I'd like for them to do is to set a false sense of security. What do I mean by that? So in the first 2 or 3 days out of the 7 days that will be there, for them to show that, oh, if you're in a team, it's gonna benefit you. Right? So that everyone is like, oh my god, there's so much benefits from being in a team. I gotta be in a team. Right? And then in the fourth day, they break this shit up with a big game that prefers solo plays. That if you're in a team, you're at a huge disadvantage. That's what I would love to see, because again, from what I said in the first part, what do I like most about the first two seasons, which was the raw emotion, something that you do not see from any other live dramas. I wanted to see it in the third season, but because of metagaming, it's hard to recreate it. But something that could recreate it, make it that they feel no choice but to team up in the first 2 to 3 days, and they bond together, right? They like each other, they've defended each other, they've been through thick together. And then on fourth day, it's a game in which you have no choice but to play alone, to betray, to destroy friendships. And so when the survivors of the fourth day's game come out, everyone hate each other. You know, they're like, oh my god, I can't believe he did this. You know? I would love something like this. I would love it. I would like the prisoners to have real food. Because again, when they come out of the prison, they're unable to play the games properly because they hadn't had enough nutrients, to think. They can't think properly because they hadn't had enough food in their stomach. I would like for that to change so that they can at least still play quite properly. I don't mind it if they receive a little less. Sure, it's a punishment, whatever. But the amount that they actually got throughout the first two seasons was so little. They gotta put it a little higher, I feel like. That was just too little. Something that would, if they go down the path in which I spoke about, which is the first 3 days, they force people to team up, and on the fourth one they break it all up. I really hope they bring more people, 24 people. The first season had 12, the second one had 14. Third, bring 24 people, make them team up, and then break it all apart. And there'll be drama for days. It'll be great. What else would I like to see? I was thinking about the games. I would like some more wiggle room for them to soft cheat. Let's put it that way. What do I mean by soft cheat? So, whenever you do something that isn't written in the rule book, right? But feels like cheating, you know? Like, okay, I'm going to give a weird example that doesn't make sense, right? Because it's so obvious. But I'll say it anyways, just so it makes sense to you. Which is, let's say in chess, you're playing a chess game with a timer, you both have 30 minutes, right? There's no rules that says that you cannot put handcuffs on your opponent and then handcuffs those to a pole that is, away from the board game so that his timer runs out and you win the game. There's no rules against it. So I'm gonna do it. Obviously, it is cheating. But I would like in this third season that there's a little more wiggle room within the rules of letting these things happen. I would like for things to get a little more dirty. I want people to get angry, So again, we see those raw emotions. Like, in the first season, which game was it? But let's say there's a game where you have to go into said room to do an action. Something I'd like to see, well, maybe not that, but as an example, I would like to see maybe 3 people that tries to block the door physically. So that now the player that needs to get into the room cannot. Like, what do I do? Do I just push them? Do I force my way through, or do I just accept that, well, this is my life, I can't go in the room anymore, And now the director is scratching his head like, well, do I just let this slide? Do we do nothing about it? I want things like that. And for the viewers to really scratch their head like, man, we know it's cheating, but there's no rules against it, except to, not get violent against one another. But since they're blocking the door, maybe not punch them, but push them, You could push them, I would say, at this point. They're blocking your way. And so it gets messy. And that's something I'd like to see. Because it's always a question, and I've said this word multiple times, but it's all about the emotions. The higher the emotions of the players, and raw emotions, organic ones, not the ones that we see in fucking movies or in other live TV series in which everything is fucking fake because they know there's cameras and they don't care about anything other than getting popular, right? No, in here it's different. So as long as there's emotions, high emotions, that are raw, organic, I will love it. And so all my ideas of what I'd like to see to be in the third season are all about seeing these players have more ways of showing those raw emotions. That's really it, I think. Those are the biggest ideas I have for what I wish to change in the third season. So, that was it. That was a long talk. So I really hope you'll enjoy it. And don't forget, write a comment on what you personally think about what I said. Maybe you didn't like something I said, you disagreed on something, or you have ideas of your own that you'd like for me to hear about. Let me know down below. Okay? I will read all of them. I don't care if there's a million of them. I will read them. On that note, take care, everyone.